you can use tech framework to create the pause where it's like, oh, I really want to look at porn and my blocker, right? Can't just type in Pornhub. I got to take 3 extra steps before I can do that. Like, okay, pause. Is this really what I want to do? What is up, podcast land? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Porn to Purpose podcast with your hosts. I'm Yeadon, my co-host, Matt.
Yes,
Coming
sir.
to you again, talking about, we were just joking in the green room setup. Matt's like, no, honey, I'm not locking my doors because I'm looking at porn. I'm locking the doors to my office because I'm talking about porn. So I have my doors to my office locked so my kids don't walk in mid-broadcast, even though they know that I'm in recovery. I just don't need all the noise of them saying, Dad, I need help with this. So yeah, we were just cracking up sitting in the green room for a minute as we're getting prepped for the show today. And I'm really excited about this topic. I pivoted today. I ran into this idea just today, actually. I was doing some work online, doing some connection on Facebook, sending happy birthday messages and everything. And I saw this post and I was like, holy crap, that hits so hard. And I'm not gonna describe it because it was a comic strip and lose the impact. But the upshot was, man, I wish I could hire someone to do the hard stuff for me. It's like, oh, you mean like push-ups? Yeah. Well, you could hire someone to do your push-ups, but you're not going to get any benefit. You can't outsource your push-ups. And when it comes to pornography and porn addiction and porn recovery, or if you're not addicted to porn, just trying to get away from it, trying to break the hold that it may have in your life, you cannot outsource the work. Just like with strength training. If you hire someone else if you hire a trainer and he's the one doing the push-ups, they're getting done, but you're not getting any of the benefit. It's not changing your life. So today we wanted to dive into this topic a little more, like, don't outsource your push-ups when it comes to recovery and breaking the grip that porn has in your life. The name of the company is Porn to Purpose. We work with men to help them go from struggling with porn to having purpose, being the primary character in their own story, living legendary. Living legendary. One of the phrases I got from the Dad Edge group that I'm in. How can you live a legendary life free from any hold that pornography may have on you? If you outsource the effort, your brain doesn't adapt. The urges don't shrink. You're just playing games. So here's like the big idea that I want to unpack today. Recovery is like a training problem. It's not a tech problem. Matt, I know you and I, we talked a lot about how the problem of pornography, men don't have a porn problem. They have a pain problem, and
Right.
Porn is the pill that they take for the pain. Recovery is like training. Recovery is the training for the life where you don't have to reach for the porn pill anymore. You have other pills that you can take to nasty side effects. Because we all started the journey the same way. Show of hands. Who decided I'm going to beat porn by putting a filter and a blocker on my phone? If you're not putting your hand up, I know you're lying.
I can relate to that
That's
one.
what I did. Yeah, that's where we all start. We try and solve it with tech solutions instead of training solutions. Instead of trying to understand what's going on the inside, we try and just put blockers on the outside to stay away from it. Because if you heard the same thing I heard growing up, What I heard was it's a sin, it's immoral, it's evil, stay away.
Right.
Matt, how about you?
Yeah, man. It takes me back, Aiden, to this conversation around supply and demand, and I know I started trying to tackle this. I know the first kind of proactive measure I took early in my relationship with porn, I was probably, man, I was right. Went and I got a filter. I think it was probably like Covenant Eyes or something. I put it on my devices, and I was so committed. That I asked my mom and my pastor to be my accountability partners. I said, I'm going to be super vulnerable. And I know if I go out on a limb like this, there's no way that I will break this commitment, and this will be the fix. And it worked for a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, I don't know. But eventually, just like so often is the case, I ended up circumventing the software. Went around the application I had on my devices, and I was right back to it. So to me,
Done that. Yeah.
To me, it goes back to the supply demand conversation. We can try and stop the flow of the supply, but what we really got to get to is the demand part of the conversation. And I think that's what you're getting to here today, Yeadon, with the inner work.
Yeah, it's like a filter is not a bad tool. It's not a bad tool.
It's a good supplement. It's a good supplement.
It is not the silver bullet you're looking for.
Uh-huh.
The unvarnished truth, there is no silver bullet. You have to do the work. You cannot outsource the work that it takes to get free from the grip of porn. Common like outsourcing things that men do, right? I got my notes right here so I don't screw this up. If I install the right filter, I'll fix it.
Right.
If I join a group, I won't feel any urges. If I hire a coach, they'll keep me sober.
Accountability partner.
Yeah, I get an accountability partner. Now I won't screw up.
Right.
Man, I had an accountability partner in college. Every week it was the same conversation. Yeah, I didn't do well this week. Okay, do better next week. I didn't do well this week. Do better next week. Didn't do well. Do better. Didn't do well. Do better. On repeat my entire time in college. So one of the reasons why, if that is the only tool you have in your toolkit, why that fails is you can they can't practice for you at 11:47 p.m. at night. They cannot. They just can't. They can't. I had Covenant Eyes myself. I still have Covenant Eyes on all my stuff.
Yep.
But I know how to get around all of it.
Yep.
And nobody would know. I can get around it. Nobody would know. And just live in my own life. But because of the active recovery work that I've been doing for the past 2.5 years, now, honestly, I don't think about it. It's just there. So, and my wife has the access to Covenant Eyes. So she just knows what I'm doing online. When she wants to check it, she's like, okay, Yeadon is on Facebook, doing his business, doing work, scrolling Instagram, on YouTube, watching Netflix. She just knows where I am online. So she doesn't have to wonder. But I'm telling you, I could get around it like that. And I know you could too, man, if you're out there listening. You already know the tech framework, it's important, but it is not the solution.
It's a supplement.
Yeah, it's a supplement. Here's some ways that you can, some concrete actions that you can take. All right. I'm going through my show notes. I reviewed them. I want to make sure I hit these points. Okay. So filters or blockers, like Covenant Eyes, like Accountable to You, whatever program you might find out there. They're really good for creating a speed bump, right? Where in the moment, like, oh, helping you, because there is a pause. If you're going to get around a blocker, you got to pause. You got to be intentional about getting around the blocker. Excuse me, y'all. I got a little congestion going on. You can use tech framework to create the pause, where it's like, oh, I really want to look at porn, and my blocker, right? Can't just type in Pornhub. I got to take 3 extra steps before I can do that. Like, okay, pause. Is this really what I want to do? Creating that momentary pause between the stimulus and the action. Having an accountability partner, being in a community. These really do, at their best, it's like a mirror, right? Giving you a mirror for yourself where it's a safe space to take ownership of your life, where it's like, man, I had a reset this past week. Here's what was going on. And they can reflect back to you the truth of where you are and help you figure out where you took the first step off the path. First step off the path is never typing in the website. It's never pulling your phone out of your pocket. First step off the path is always well in advance of that, where some sort of emotional bruise got bumped in life, don't know how to process it. And the pressure builds and builds and builds to the point where your brain, the inner addict, that inner voice, the inner critic, the inner child's like, we got to do something. We're in too much pain. We need a pain pill. I know this will almost work. It'll work well enough. And we reset, we relapse. Having a therapist, having a coach. Y'all, when I worked with a therapist for years, started working with a therapist for anger issues. And when he asked me about pornography, I point blank lied to his face. I was like, nope, I'm good on that front. Don't need to talk about that. Because I was so terrified of that darkness inside me. Yeah. I didn't feel safe talking about it with anyone. It's like, my therapist doesn't struggle with porn. He can't understand what I'm going through. But having a therapist, having a coach, they give you maps. You walk the path. They're there as a guide to help you when you slip, help you when you stumble, so you can get right back on the path. One of the lines in the Noble Code, which is part of the Liberation Bootcamp training program, recovery program, part of our Porn to Purpose culture. If I stray from the path, I vow to return. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Yep. Matt, you got anything so far?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think you're getting at it, and I know there's probably a couple points here, but the big thing for me, I'll offer around this is, man, it goes back to that supply demand conversation. Like we can use the blockers and the filters, as Yeadon mentioned. We can have the accountability partners and the accountability groups. We've got the daily tools and the daily practices. To Yeadon's point, and with your therapy and coaching, emphasis here on this most recent point, Yeadon, you got to get to the pain that's causing us to want to reach for the porn pill. As you've talked about, it's like you don't have a porn problem, you have a pain problem. And I think getting to that wounded aspect, getting to the part of yourself that feels incapable of dealing with the emotional stressor, stress, pressure, fatigue that you're experiencing, and getting to the root of the pain that's causing you to need to reach for the porn or whatever it is that you might be reaching. I mean, that to me is like the essential piece of the puzzle in all this,
And guys, we all lie to ourselves. Men lie to us. We're like, well, I have a high sex drive. I don't want to bother my wife. It's not that big a deal. I'm not hurting anybody. Right. All these things that we tell ourselves to rationalize it. There we go. Matt, I'm back. I'm not sure if I lost the connection.
I got you. You did drop for a second there. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with my Wi-Fi. I tested my Wi-Fi before we started the show. But I'm back, y'all.
We got you.
Men, we tell ourselves these myths around porn. I really learned for myself after going through recovery, porn was never about sex. It was about feeling like I was enough, feeling like I was okay being myself. Fake validation, fake affirmation, fake everything. And my brain was like, yes, you are enough. This is validation that you are enough, Yeadon. And by doing the work, understanding where those wounds started and going through the process of finding healing for those emotional wounds, I know I'm enough. I know I'm okay. I don't need that fake, false validation. I can find that validation all on my own without any sort of external input. Now, don't get me wrong. I still love it when my kids say, "Oh, Dad, I love you." I love it when my wife sends me a text message saying, "Thank you so much for making this happen," right? That feeds my soul. But I don't have to have that because I have learned how to meet those needs just through myself. I know how to meet my own needs now without requiring it to be met from the outside. So I want to draw a line as we're talking about this, right? It's like there's help and there's hard work. Help is where a coaching program comes in, like the Liberation Boot Camp. Help is where a community comes in, where you can check in, right? Like the AA meetings, the anonymous meetings of whatever kind, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcohol Anonymous, Porn Anonymous, just Overeaters Anonymous, whatever, like fill in the blank. Anonymous meetings, those are great for help. But that is not the hard work. Going to a meeting is not the hard work. The hard work is sitting with yourself, learning what caused that emotional pain to begin with, and figuring out how can I meet this need in a healthy way. Hard work is doing the reps. It's the dailiness of my recovery program, the dailiness of my recovery. This morning, after I dropped my daughter off at school, I'm like, I'm exhausted. I'm running on little sleep this week because we had a packed weekend and I'm still behind on my sleep. I have to get up early with my daughter to get her to school. This morning, I was like, I do not want to go for a walk. I do not want to listen to my audiobook that I'm working through. I do not want to journal. I definitely don't want to sit for 10 minutes and just meditate. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I want to just like sit on the couch, turn on Netflix for an hour before I have to get the rest of my day started. The hard work is doing the work, showing up for yourself on a consistent basis. No, are these serving me? Are these emotions helpful? What's underneath them? One of the great tools that is used all over the place is the acronym HALT: hungry, angry, lonely, tired. When the emotions flare up, when the inner voice starts spinning out of control, pausing to say, okay, am I hungry? You know what? I haven't eaten anything all day. Or, am I angry? Yeah, I'm angry. My daughter hadn't cleaned her room, like always. Wet towel on the floor, just like there is every night. And that irritates me. Am I lonely? Yeah, I think I feel lonely. I haven't connected with my partner. I haven't connected with another person lately. I need connection. Am I tired? Yeah, I am tired. That's the truth. I am tired today. But as I recognize those things, I know how I can meet those needs. You're tired? You can take a nap. You hungry? Eat a Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. The commercials are not wrong.
Right.
You're angry? Okay. It's okay to be angry. Nothing wrong with being angry. It's not okay to hurt people. It's not okay to be mean, not okay to be unkind. Lonely? I'm going to make a bid for connection with my wife. See if we can go for a walk. See if we can sit down and have a conversation about not kids' schedule today. Here's a litmus test, okay? If a tool helps you face discomfort, that's training. That's training. If meditation helps you meet discomfort face on, that's training. If reading helps you face discomfort, that's training. If it helps you avoid discomfort, now you've outsourced it.
Yep.
If you're listening to a podcast thinking, okay, I'm getting better. I don't have to think about my urges. I don't have to think about the emotions. You're outsourcing your training, man. If you're listening to this podcast thinking, yeah, I'm doing something. It's like, well, you're doing something, but I wouldn't call it the hard work. Now, if you take a snippet here and a snippet there, it's like, you know what? These guys are always talking about meditation. I'm going to give that a shot. These guys are always talking about getting in a safe community. I'm going to find one. Now you're training. Now you're getting the reps in. Now you're taking ownership for the hard work. So here's some action steps for y'all. Put a name to whatever the rep looks like. And this takes some detective work, right? Got to put on your detective hat, right? And start to think, you know what? The last time I used porn, this was my circumstance. This is how I was feeling. This is what was going on in my life. Okay. Let's just, for example, you know what? When I'm on my phone past 10 p.m. at night, that's the danger zone. More often than not, if I'm on my phone late at night, I'm going to relapse. I'm going to use porn. Okay. Well, here's a simple action step. Put your phone away. Leave your phone plugged in the kitchen when you go to bed. Distance yourself from the phone. And then you're going to have to sit with the discomfort of not having it when you go to sleep. That's a rep. That's training. That's taking ownership of your recovery. Just hoping a filter keeps you safe after 10 p.m., you've outsourced it. Track your inputs, not your streaks. This speaks to the difference between recovery, active recovery, and just straight up sobriety, number of days sober. What actions are you taking on a daily basis to feed your soul, to build yourself up? Count those instead of just another day, no porn, check.
Yep.
Now, in Porn to Purpose, in the Liberation Boot Camp, we do track days sober. But more valuable than that, we track all of our habits. How's you doing with your core four? Reading, journaling, meditation, exercise. If you're not getting those in consistently, dude, no wonder you're not making progress. Your sober streak, you can't get past 30 days because you're focusing on the outputs instead of the inputs. Couple of pitfalls. As men, this is the biggest pitfall we have. The all or nothing trap. You're white knuckling it. You have a sober streak going on, 7 days, 21 days, 30 days, 100 days, whatever the sober streak is. But you haven't been doing the work. You've just been white knuckling it, doing everything you can to avoid it. Then there's a reset. And the all or nothing trap sneaks right in. It's like, well, can't do it. I can't do it perfectly, so I'm just not even going to try. That is such an insidious trap. I fell into it. I still fall into it all the time in life. But I'm committed more and more in every area to progress over perfection. I don't need perfection. I'm never going to have perfection. But I can be a little bit better today than I was yesterday. So, man, Matt, anything to jump in on?
You got me, Yeadon?
I got your audio. Good
Okay,
enough
cool.
for the podcast.
Well, yeah. Yeah, man. It just, to me, it just comes down to putting in those daily reps. You know, we go back to the conversation around, sobriety is quantitative. It's a number on a tracker, but recovery is cumulative. It's about the work that you're putting in day after day. It's about putting in the reps. And to your point around the theme of this conversation here today, you can't outsource your push-ups. You can't outsource going to the gym. You can't outsource eating healthy every single day, and you certainly can't outsource your recovery. You got to get up and put in your reps every single day around your recovery. And I think you outlined that beautifully here in today's episode, Yeadon.
You know, tools will help. They will help.
Yes.
I'm not saying get rid of any of the tools.
Mm-hmm.
Tools will help, but reps will rewire. Getting the reps in will rewire your brain for success. That's really where the work is. So here's the invitation. If this resonates with you, share this podcast with somebody who's just trying to chase that silver bullet, right? Reach out to somebody. Be the light in somebody else's life. If you're looking for more tools, if you're looking for support around doing the reps and doing the work, you can check us out, porntopurpose.com. You can learn more about Matt, learn more about me, learn some of our story, book a private call with us if you want to have an offline conversation, totally confidential. We want to hear where you are. We want to see how can we support you on this journey. Because brothers, you cannot outsource this. It took me decades to learn that lesson. And my prayer, my hope is that you out there listening, you learn it way faster. Because now that I've found it, life is so good. My connections are so much stronger with the people I love, with my children, with my wife. The voice in the back of my head is gone, threatening, the one that threatened me all the time in every conversation. The water is so good. You should jump in and start swimming. So that's our invitation, brother. If you're out there looking for support, we got you. Reach out. Let's connect.
Yes.
If you got support already, lean in more and be the light for another man in your life. Share your story. And on that note, brothers, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being on this journey with us. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate growing from porn to purpose. On that note, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, man. Peace, power.
Peace and power. Noble
men.